Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for being so punctual. It's been a while since the last class we had, almost a month or more than a month ago when we have the last class, well, the last English class. So I don't know if you want to share how have you been during these days? What are your expectations to the second phase of this year? So you know that we're gonna start working in the blended learning process. Some students are gonna be here in the classrooms and some of you are gonna stay home. And that would be a challenge for us as teachers and for you as students because you need to be aware of all the activities or the follow-up things we're gonna try to do. And I don't know if you want to say something. How did you spend your vacation? How was your vacation? Anybody wants to say something? It's been a while. I mean, it has happened almost a month since the last time we can have this opportunity to be here.
Teacher, good morning.
Hello, Lourdes.
Tenía una duda. No sé si solo.
You ruin it. You can ask in English. Come on, your English skills are good.
No, es que es informal. Solo,
Okay,
no,
okay.
solo,
Okay. What is your question?
no sé si solo a mí me aparece que no puedo escribir en el chat. No, no sé.
No. It's everybody's problem.
Okay.
Anybody wants to share something about your expectations to the second phase of this year? Anybody else? Mario Enrique? Mario, are you online? Marito?
Yes, I'm here, but it's too loud here.
Oh yeah, I can hear. But just tell me, how are you, Mario? How are you?
I'm gonna write in the chat, teacher.
You can't. You can use the chat, it's blocked.
I'm fine. A little tired, but not a lot. I'm okay.
Okay. Are you planning to come back or you're gonna stay home?
I guess that I will stay home, but I don't know. I
You don't
have
know
to.
yet.
What?
You have to decide.
Yes, I have to decide with my family because I have. They have to think about who's gonna
Pick you up.
take me to the school and all of that.
Yeah, that's a situation that you have to think as family. It's not that, no, I just want to get back. But you have to consider many things. And one of them is who is going to take me and who is going to pick me up in the school. This is one of the things. The school uniforms, your lunch, so everything. There are many things that there are on the game that you have to consider very carefully. Let me see who else is here. Someone from room B. Maybe Santiago Lopez. Can you share something with us? Santiago, how are you? Or you don't have a microphone? So that's the problem when you can use the chat. Some of you can't use your microphone because it's not available, it's not working, or you just don't have. But anyway, let me see. Alison Jimenez, are you here?
Yes, teacher.
Hello, Alison, how are you?
I'm fine. A little bit tired, but it's okay. And you?
Oh, I've been better. It's been better, but you see, I'm surviving.
Me too.
Okay. Are you planning to get back or you just staying home?
Actually, I'm planning on staying home because, yeah, those stuff is a little bit complicated.
Yeah, I understand. So that includes your sister, your little sister.
Yes, especially
Mhm.
her because my mom doesn't want her to go to the school yet.
Okay. Yeah, it's totally understandable. Thank you very much for sharing. So let me see somebody else from room D. Maybe Victor Hernandez.
Hi,
Hello,
morning.
Victor. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Excellent. It's nice to hear that. So what are your plans? What are your family plans for this coming back to school, or you're just staying in your
I
comfy home?
guess I'm I'm planning to come back.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It sounds really good.
So
I mean, you just spent 2 months and almost 3 months in here, right?
yeah,
Yeah, but I
yes,
remember
only
you. I
for
remember you very
two
well.
months, I
Yeah,
guess.
for
But
just a few months. Yeah, that
yes,
sucked. But you will have
yes,
your
but
opportunity.
yes, uh, I'm going to come back.
That's good. Good to hear that. Okay. So without no further ado, we're gonna start the class. We're gonna use the English ID. No, no, no. What I'm saying, no, we're gonna use the spotlight. The spotlight. I'm moving so ahead. So we'll start the term with the spotlight. The spotlight on literature E. Yes, it's letter E. The first lesson, which is the reading passage. And let me share the screen with you. So here we are, Aladdin and the Magic Lamp. So that lesson can be found on pages from 34 to 41 in your spotlights. So we're gonna have a little insight about this story because I think, and I am sure that the first thing that comes to your mind when you see Aladdin is that cartoon in Disney Channel, right? Because Disney has incorporated this story in their repertoire. Let's see. Let's move to page 32. But first and first, we're gonna try to reflect on this quotation. And I want you to help me out, please, opening your microphones. You have to unmute your microphone to help me out with this. Because as far as you can see, the chat has been unable for you to use it for different reasons, and you might figure it out what is the reason for this decision. So let me see somebody who wants to help me out in here, reading the quotation so we can analyze it.
Me, teacher.
Please.
Okay. Life is the most difficult exam. Many people fail because they try to copy others, not realizing that everyone has a different question paper.
Wow, thank you very much. So it's a good quotation to reflect on. Life is the most difficult exam. Do you agree with that, don't you? What do you think
Yes.
about it?
Um, I think, well, like the comparison to the exams that we have on school, sometimes we know what we are doing. We know that we have to study and learn some things about topics that the teacher taught us. But life is a little bit different because we will never know what we have to expect about it. So sometimes we are not have a clue about what to do or how to solve some problems. So yes, it's very difficult because you don't know what comes next.
Yeah, exactly. That's what life is all about. You don't know what's next. So give me a second, please. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So anybody else who wants to reflect on this? Maybe Franklin Elias, Quijano Cativo. Are you online? Aren't you?
Hello,
Hello, Franklin. Nice to hear you.
hello.
Hello. We can hear
What's
you.
up, teacher?
Here, you know, same old in class.
Okay.
Okay, tell me, Franklin, what do you think about this? That life is the most difficult exam and you don't have to spend your life copying or cheating to somebody else's life, but come original. So what do you think?
That. Wait. Let me think.
Okay.
Wait.
We can wait, my friend.
That we have to be worried about our life, and we don't have to look. No. We don't have to copy the other's life.
Exactly. So let me put it this way, Franklin. Do you think that you receive a lot of influence from other people, or you try to live according to your values in your case?
No. In my case, no. I think that all people receive influence to the another people, but but we have to be originally.
Yeah, but it's impossible to you see, to deny the influence of others in the way we live. I'm telling you from my experience, and I think that all of us have faced that. Thank you very much, Franklin, for your participation.
Okay.
All right, so then let's move to this thing. So Aladdin and the Magic Lamp has been taken from a collection of stories. And the name of that collection of stories is 1001 Night. And we have a question in here, and it is a very valid question. It's a valuable question. Who wrote the stories in that book collection? The book collection where Aladdin has been taken is 1001 Night. I don't know if you know the answer, probably not. You can Google, but the answer is this. So anybody wants to help me reading the answer for that question? No, nobody wants to help me reading. What about Marjorie Cabrera? Marjorie, are you here? Aren't you?
Hi, teacher.
Hello,
Yes.
Marjorie. Help me, please, with the answer. Who wrote 1001 Nights?
Okay. The 1001 Nights, also called the Arabian Nights, Arabic Al-Laila wa Laila, collection of largely Middle Eastern and Indian stories of uncertain date and authorship.
So what does it mean? So it means that this collection of stories they don't have a specific author. Well, nobody knows who actually wrote the answers. So excuse me, give me a second because I have to move from here. You see, now the other students are in the school and I have to do something. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry, I had to move from one place to another. This is a craziness in here since we are online and some students are here. So, so I was saying the 1001 Night, they got another name. There are also the Arabian Nights. And in Arabic, there you can read it. I can't speak Arabic, so I'm not gonna read it. And there's a large collection of Indian stories, and the date and the author are not certain. So nobody knows who has written and when these stories were written. But we have a man who was responsible for translating and collecting all of these stories in one book. And the guy who did this is Richard F. Burton. He was born in 1821 and he died in 1890. Let me see. Daniel Vargas, Alessandro Hernandez. Vargas, are you online, Vargas? Naomi Martinez. Naomi Martinez Hernandez. Or maybe Angela Michel.
Hi, teacher.
Hello, it's nice to hear you. You always help me out.
Yes, today is another noise today, so.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but anyways, you can help me. Please read his short biography. This biography is in your books. It's exactly the same. Can you please help me?
Okay. Richard F. Burton, 1821 to 1818. He was a British explorer, army man, writer, and scholar. He traveled Asia extensively and is responsible for what has been called for the most complete collection of 1001 Nights in English, which is translated. 1001 Nights is a collection of timeless Middle Eastern and South Asian stories and folk tales that were compiled in Arabic as early as the 9th century, according to some sources of the time. The story you're about to read is not part of that original compilation, but added later in European translations to enrich the collection. However, it is originally from the Middle East.
Thank you so much. So you see, this man is responsible for collecting all of these stories. They were like, you see, those stories that are oral, in oral tradition, they were transmitted from generation to generation, and one day someone occurs to put it in a book. And this guy is responsible for the translation into English of some of this. Aladdin and the Magic Lamp was not included in the original collection, but it says here that was incorporated later on for the European translations. And the purpose of that, it was mere to enrich the collection, you see, to have more important and nice tales. So for the story, we have the characters, Scheherazade. I think she is the most important character in the collection of stories, and especially in Aladdin, and the Sultan, because they originate everything that is going to happen later on. Then, because we have two stories, because we're going to work on the technique, a story within a story. We have two stories incorporated in one. We have Scheherazade's story as well as Aladdin's. Scheherazade, the Sultan, Aladdin, the Maghrabi, and Princess Badar al-Budur. Those are the characters for the story we're going to read in unit number 2. And there's another question. Who was Scheherazade? René Eduardo, are you online, René Eduardo? Can you use your microphone? Or maybe Monica.
Teacher,
Hello.
Rene doesn't have
Microphone.
yes.
Okay, thank you, Frank.
Okay.
Monica Nicole Cáceres.
Hi.
Hello. Can you help me, please, my dear?
Okay. Scheherazade is a legendary Persian queen who is the storyteller in 1001 Nights. This story, which was written many hundreds of years ago, tells of an Arabian king who married a young girl every night. At the end of every night, he will send his new wife to have her head chopped off.
Thank you so much. Violence against women. Wow, what a surprise. Well, Scheherazade is a Persian princess and she's a storyteller. Well, she tells all of these stories. And why? We have this man, the Sultan. Well, the Sultan is some sort of king who lived long time ago in a remote place in Asia. And one day he was deceived of one of his wives. And in revenge, in that sad event in his life, he decided to marry a young lady every night. And then he cut their heads off. So this is a maniac. You see, this guy got so pissed with women that he decided to kill them all. Every night that he got married and every day he got married, the wedding night, he killed them by cutting their heads off. And then one day, Scheherazade got the idea to marry this man. And in order to spare his life, to keep living, she tells stories to the Sultan to entertain him. And every time that it was about to dawn, she didn't finish the story to keep the Sultan's attention. And he was so interested in Scheherazade's stories that he forgave her life. And she survived for 1001 nights. So isn't it very interesting? I mean, it's kind of fascinating. So now in your books on page 32, you're gonna start reading the story and I'm gonna share the audio with you. Do you have any questions so far? Any questions?
So at the end, Scheherazade died.
I think it's the other way around. I'm not so sure because I haven't read the story, the whole story, but I have heard and I read in a small article that at the end she murdered the Sultan. So it got a happy ending. Okay. So more questions. That was a very interesting story, Juan. A very interesting question. Anybody else? Okay, no questions. Let's move to the audio.
Aladdin and the Magic Lamp. Adapted from the translation by Richard F. Burton.
Can you listen?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thank you.
There was once in Baghdad a sultan who had been deceived by his wife. So he decided to remarry, but that he would seek vengeance by killing every new wife on the wedding night. His vizier had the task of finding new brides for the sultan, and the whole kingdom trembled in fear of losing their daughters. The vizier had a daughter, Scheherazade, who was smart as she was beautiful. To her father's dismay, she offered herself as a bride to the king, assuring him that she knew how to solve the problem. She eluded death the first night by telling the king a story so intriguing that he decided to spare her life until the next in order to know the ending. But the story went on interesting the king for many, many nights, and more stories came. Scheherazade concluded a tale, and she said, "O king, the tale I just told you is not more wondrous than the remarkable story of Aladdin and the Magic Lamp." And so she told a new tale in hope that the sultan would spare her life one more night. In a city of China, a poor tailor lived with his wife and their only son, Aladdin. Since childhood, Aladdin was lazy and careless. The tailor could not spend money to have his son learn a different trade, so he took the lad into his shop to learn tailoring. But as Aladdin was idle and sloppy, he would sneak out of the tailor shop to play. He would not sit in the shop for a whole single day. Punishments were of no use, nor would he obey either parent or learn any other trade. In time, the tailor became sick and died. As time passed, Aladdin continued with his careless behavior. His mother, stricken with grief, saw that she was alone and that her son would not change. So she sold the shop and everything in it. She started making a living by spinning cotton yarns to feed the lazy Aladdin, who, seeing himself freed from paternal discipline, became more idle and reckless. He would only be at home for meals to eat the food his mother had gotten with what little money she earned. Thus, Aladdin grew to be 15. One day, as Aladdin was sitting with some scoundrels like himself, a magician from Maghrib, the land of the setting sun, appeared. He gazed upon the lazy lads. As he looked carefully at Aladdin from afar, the magician, adept in astrology, said to himself, "Truly, this is the boy I need and which I came to find." He cast aside one of Aladdin's friends and questioned him. "Whose son is he?" And so he learned all he needed to know about Aladdin and his situation. After this, he walked up to Aladdin and, calling him aside, asked, "Oh, my son, are you the child of Mustafa the tailor?" And the boy answered, "Yes, my lord, but it has been long since he died." The Maghrebi, hearing these words, threw himself upon Aladdin, embraced him, and wept. Aladdin, surprised, questioned him. "Why do you cry? Did you know my father?" The man lied. "Don't you realize how sad it makes me to know that your father, my brother, is now dead?" Such heartache had the magician shown that Aladdin believed him. Aladdin and his mother invited the impostor for supper. Though Aladdin's mother did not know of her husband having a living brother, she was won over by the stranger's generosity. She had to borrow pans and platters from her neighbors to cook. When the meal was ready, the Maghrebi arrived with wine and dessert fruits. After they had dined, the magician told stories, many of them lies told with great gift, filling the years of absence from his false brother's life. He turned to Aladdin and said, "My son, what do you do to support yourself and your mother?" The lad was ashamed to answer, but his mother cried out her despair at Aladdin's idleness. Then the Maghrebi turned to Aladdin. "Why are you doing this, nephew? Your behavior is disgraceful and unworthy." As the reproaches continued, in his deception the stranger offered, "I will open a shop for you and make a gentleman out of you. You will learn the trade of merchants. You will become a rich, respected trader." Up to this point, Aladdin's mother had still doubted the stranger was really her brother-in-law. But in light of such generosity, she cast any doubt aside. The next morning, Aladdin, wearing a new and expensive dress, followed his uncle to the gardens where rich and important merchants met to trade and befriend. On their way, the magician made the lad laugh and enjoy with stories of his voyages, some true, some lies. After a long expedition in which Aladdin paid no attention, they arrived at the base of a huge and desolate hill. Since the boy had never gone beyond the city gates nor taken such an extensive walk, Aladdin wondered, "Uncle, where are we going?" The magician lied once again to appease Aladdin with promises of great fortune and future while gathering dry wood. As the Maghrebi started a fire, he took incense from a little box hidden in his breast pocket. He threw it to the fire and started chanting strange words. The sky darkened, thunder stroke, and the ground split open. Aladdin, deeply scared, tried to run, but the magician knocked him to the ground. Scheherazade noticed that it was about dawn and stopped telling her story. The next night she continued as the king eagerly heard. When Aladdin became conscious again, his uncle explained, "My boy, it is my intention to make a man out of you, for which you must obey me without question. If you do everything I tell you, you will become richer than all the kings in the world. Underneath us lies a great treasure that has been destined for you only. You will enter the cave covered by the marble slab I moved with my prayers." Ravished by the promise of great fortune, Aladdin chose to obey his uncle, who continued, "In the cave you will find rooms filled with gold and marvels. At the end of the cave there is a ladder you must climb to reach a lamp. Be careful not to touch anything in the room, no jewels or gold. Just attain the lamp and bring it back to me." Hypnotized by greed, Aladdin did not question the magician. He did almost exactly as he was told. When he was about to exit the cave, Aladdin started climbing back up the underground chambers with the lamp in his pocket. Near the surface, he found it difficult to climb up unassisted. When he asked for his uncle's help, the magician replied, "My son, give me the lamp, and that will lighten the climb." Aladdin answered, "It is not the lamp which weighs me down. Help me surface, and I will give it to you." Unknown to the magician, the young boy had taken jewels he believed to be pieces of glass. He could not reach the lamp, which was at the bottom of his pockets. Enraged, the Maghrebi feared that Aladdin had discovered the secret of the lamp down in the cave and wanted to betray him. He threw incense on the fire and chanted once more. With a quake of the ground, the cave was covered by the slab again, Aladdin still trapped inside. The Maghrebi was a dark sorcerer who only wished to possess the lamp. From his earliest age, he had been attracted to witchcraft and had studied and practiced every manner of occult science. After 40 years of studying, he discovered by devilish vision the existence of a great magical object. a lamp that could make its master the most powerful man among kings. In his vision, he saw that a young lad marked by the stars, Aladdin, was the only one who could attain it. That is how his deception came to be. After the cave was sealed once again, the Maghrebi retreated, disappointed for not having the lamp. He believed that Aladdin would die inside and went back to his homeland. So much for the magician. When the earth closed over him, Aladdin understood the Maghrebi was an impostor. He spent 3 desperate days trapped inside the cave with no food or water. However loudly he wept, no one could hear him. As he cried for Allah, casting away all hope for survival.
Okay, I'm gonna stop here because it's almost time. So I suggest you to reread it very carefully. There are many details that you need to pay attention to understand this story much better. Something that I want you to really consider and to take into account when you read it is that we have 2 stories going on. What is the first story? Anybody who wants to tell me? What is the first story we read? Leonardo Josué? Can you unmute your microphone? Or it's not working? Guillermo Velasco?
Hi, teacher.
Hello. Did you pay attention to the 2 stories that we are reading?
Yes.
What is the first
But
story? Just tell me. Don't describe exactly what is going on. Just tell me what is the first story.
I not understand God, but the first story,
Who is the main character?
the Sultan.
The Sultan. And who else? The storyteller's name?
Is
It's
no
a
sé cómo
woman.
yes, but no, I know.
You don't know how to pronounce it.
Yes.
Maybe Daniela Vasquez can help you out. Are you there, my dear? Aren't you? Daniela Vasquez from room B. Not here. Lourdes, are you still with us?
Yes, teacher.
Hello, Lourdes. Okay, we have the first story. Is the Sultan and who else?
I don't know if there's genius. Is genius? No.
No, that is the second story. How? Because
No,
we have 2 stories.
no.
Guillermito mentioned the Sultan and is missing one important person.
I just remember Bulti-Gamasa
Scheherazade.
and Gamali Hill and Kumkam. I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
There's
Thank
3
you.
numbers and I don't know.
Okay, thank you. And let me see who else is here. Who is actually here? Anybody who wants to tell me who are the main characters of the first story?
And the vizier's daughter.
The
I
vizier's
don't know
daughter.
how to pronounce the name, so.
Yeah,
that.
but you said it, the vizier's daughter is
Yes.
Scheherazade. Scheherazade. Thank you. And then we have the second story. Who are the characters of the second story? We have a story within a story. Maybe Camila Jaretsi. Are you with us? Can you use your microphone, my dear? Or Naomi Mendoza? Naomi Alessandra, are you online? Aren't you? Well, just let me tell you that the characters of the second story so far is Aladdin, Aladdin's mom, and McGravy. The genie is not here right now. So we're gonna finish the class because it's time for you to lunch. So enjoy your meal and see you next time. I recommend you to read, to finish the story by your own. We're gonna continue discussing about it, but it's gonna be a great help that you read it. Thank you guys. Enjoy your meal in your afternoon.
Goodbye, teacher. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, teacher.
Bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye.
Bye,
Enjoy.
teacher.
Bye. Enjoy.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.
You're welcome.
Bye, teacher.
Goodbye.